everyone for you. Make sure everyone's muted. All right. Here we go. Welcome for you. All right. You guys are golden. You are good to go. I can't wait. Thanks, Lance and Tracey. Thank you for hosting today. Here you go.
Excellent. Good morning, everyone. We're excited to be here with you. I know that a lot of you are having some amazing wins. So does anyone want to share real quick before we get started?
Hi, this is Tony. I just wanted to say that things are going really well now, especially with the GLP. And most importantly, all the team's help. You guys are awesome as well as everybody else. But all the things that I've learned up to date are really coming into play now.
So exciting, Tony. We're excited for you and Melissa. Amazing. Anybody else? Don't be shy. I know we had a guy on our team call me yesterday, Kevin Gardner, an amazing guy, has had amazing success with the product, lost 19 pounds already, and he is on fire. He can't help but talk to everybody, so that's pretty exciting. Anybody else?
Down 16 pounds.
16 pounds, fantastic. Is that Scott? No. Who is that? Tell me who
Yeah,
you are.
Marios.
Oh,
Scott.
Scott, good, Scott. Hey, Paul.
Hey, taking Drew to the train to see her mom, so we're driving right now, but yeah, we got some little traction building towards momentum, and you know,
Oh, I think we lost you, Paul, but yeah, Kevin Gardner's in Paul's team.
daily disciplines, done daily, build character. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
We just got you back.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in a weird spot. I'm in San Juan Capistrano. So yeah, daily disciplines, done daily, build character. So another mentor told me something so basic back in 2005. He said, do something every day to move your business forward. So last but not least, and I'm Mr. Cliche, all out massive action creates an all out massive paycheck. And Kevin and I have the same goal. Kevin and I are in this to sponsor 100 people personal. And then we're going to see some of those are going to become millionaires. Some of those are going to quit in 48 hours and go in the witness protection program. and some of them are going to be in the middle. But if we sponsor 100, I know that's a lofty goal, but we know we can do it with GLP-3. And yeah, Kevin's getting crazy results. He called me yesterday, and we're not some. Okay, I think he should be on this Zoom. Kevin, you can't call me at 5 in the morning. He called me this morning at 5 in the morning. Do you see what's going on? Do you see what's going on? I'm like, Kevin, act like you've been there before. So
That's
yeah,
exciting.
he's beyond. The only word I can think about for Kevin Gardner right now is giddy. He's beyond giddy. He's excited. Like I said, we're getting traction. It's going to turn into momentum. I remember Lance and Tracey when I first met you in Montague back in those big years. We had over 1,000 people new joining our team weekly. 1 week alone, we had 3,200 people. I'm like, what's going on? I didn't know any of them. So that's what's possible here. And years from now, we're all going to have those kind of results as long as you don't give up and you stay consistent. Do something every day to move your business forward. Add people and delete people every day. Thank you, Tracey. Thanks, Lance.
That's awesome,
Everything
Paul.
you guys do.
And on that momentum, a lot of people on this call have never seen that momentum, but they're about to.
Oh, yeah.
Over the next year, the next couple of years are going to be really fun. But it is kind of cool of experiencing that before and actually coming into a company that's literally lined up better, has a better compensation plan and better leaders in place. This is going to be a fun run.
Well, fantastic. So good morning. Good morning. We are so excited to be with you. It is early and it's really hard for me to get Lance. We are the seasoned networkers where our schedules are more towards afternoon and evening networkers. And so I am so excited that he's here to join me. Lance is amazing at numbers and structure and strategy. And so I'm a really good follow througher. And so I'm like, please, 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 we need you. And so I'm going to let him take it away, talking about 3 stars, the development, the leadership part of it. And I'm just super excited to share him with you today.
Yeah, no, and thanks for having me on here. Yeah, I usually don't. When we first got involved, we were in our early 20s, and back in those days, we'd do meetings at night and stay out in the Denny's until 1 in the morning or wherever it was at, and it just got in my schedule where I go to bed at about 1 o'clock in the morning and I wake up about 7:30. So anyway, cup of coffee helps, but it's great to be here with everybody. And even though I do get up a little later, I know that a lot of times Tracy's got the speaker phone on, so I get a chance to listen to a lot of you. And I just want to thank all of you for what you're doing over here. You know, this is a great community over here, and I just love the hearts of everybody. I love the wisdom of everybody. I just love the group that we're part of right now. It's being part of three is just an amazing deal. You know, we were part of a company where it was a little more of a toxic culture and more tribal. And this one, I love this group, and I want to thank all of you. Just to start off, thank all of you for all that you do for all of us, because you know we can all have a chance to lift each other. You know, we all have an ability to make a difference in people's lives. And the longer I go and the longer I'm in this, the more that really makes a difference for us. That's what we want to do. You know, we started three in 2022, and we came together, and it was based on the idea that there were a lot of people that were hurting, a lot of people that were on their heels, a lot of people were lost their confidence, and we love this industry when done right. And we thought, man, if we could do a company right now at this time, coming out of COVID, there's no limit to what we can do. And I thank God every day when I wake up that we're part of this team, and honored to be in business with all of you. What I want to talk about today is I want to go through some details about structuring the plan and about the binary. And the reason why I want to do that, we have so many new people coming in. A lot of you are new to this space, and you've never been part of a network marketing company or a business like this, affiliate type company before. So we have a whole different language. A lot of people, we're upline, downline. We do binaries, new generation binaries, and there's a whole language that we've learned over time. You know, for us, this is what we've lived. And so it's easy for us, but it's sometimes we forget to fill in the new person. So I'm going to just go through some basics real quick. I've got a PowerPoint I'm going to share real quick, just a couple of slides, and I want to hit a couple of things on it real fast, and then I'll kind of get into play. Get that admit out of the way, and then we get play. Can y'all see that okay? Can I get a thumbs up from everybody? Okay, good. So what I want to start with is this: is our industry is a great one, and our business model is a great one. But really, it's not about being rock stars. It's about duplication. It's about having a business that goes that whatever it is you do, you've got to be able to duplicate. And duplication is the key. And every time somebody gets involved, they say, "Hey, I got this idea. I got this doctor. I'm going to go do these panels and do this." And whenever you get down to a niche path, you really kind of put a cap on our business. I love Daniel on the call on Monday. He talked about let's keep this thing really, really simple. And I agree with that 100%. I think that if you get too much into the details, if somebody asks you a question and you spit out a whole bunch of language that the new person doesn't know, I'm telling you, they're thinking to themselves. When you share this idea with people, the question they ask is, "Does this work? And can I do what they're doing?" And can it work? We got the testimonials that show it works. We just saw that video. But the can I do what they're doing? It's a little tough if you make this really sophisticated. So we want to have duplication. Can it be duplicated? There's a phrase that we use called discretion is the enemy of duplication. And if you have a lot of people doing it a whole bunch of different ways, what it does is it does create a little bit of confusion. And so the clarity and focus wins. And I'm just going to share this with you real quick. We have a great organization here with three. We have a great community, and I appreciate everybody helping each other. But you're going to have two types of people that you're going to work with in three. The first type of person you're going to work with is everyone in three. We're three, and we're a family. We all want to help each other out. If somebody in Adrian's group wins, that helps our group win. If somebody in Corbin and Holly's group wins, that helps our group win. Mark Ewell has a brand new rank that helps us win. All of that is fantastic. But I will also tell you this: you also have a support team. You have a support team of people that got you involved, that you're personally in their tree, that you're working directly with you. And so you're going to have these two of them. Now, I use the example. Last night I watched the Padres, and the Padres are the number one tied with Dodgers right now. All of the baseball players love the MLB, and they all want to see the MLB grow. They want to see the audience grow. They want to see that, but they all have individual teams that they work with. And you can't walk into the Padres and say, "You know what, this is the way I play baseball. Here's what I'm going to do over here." Otherwise, you're off the team. They'll trade you. And the reason why I say that is because there's a tendency to go out there and want to talk to everyone out there. And we come in a spot where we got in where our upline quit. And so we started asking questions to everybody cross line and different people. And what it is, we got 15 or 20 different answers. And And when you have 15 or 20 different answers on how to build something, you get confused. And when you're confused, you don't do much. And so here's what I'm going to say is I'm going to say, I appreciate the times like we've got where we have calls like this, and you're getting a lot of good information. But I'm going to say this just before I even start going through on the structure part. If I say anything that's different than what your upline is doing, do what your support team's doing, do what they're doing, because they're the one that's going to be with you tonight, tomorrow. They're going to be on the three-way call with you. They're going to be the ones working with me, not me. And likewise for those of you that are in our group, if you hear a good idea, bounce it by us and say, hey, does this make sense the way we're doing it? Just so that we're running on the same page and you can get the clarity and the focus in place. So we don't have everyone else there doing that. In network marketing, there's lots of ways to go out there and build this. But I'll tell you, the way that you should build it is with the way that your team is working, that's working with you, that's building it. That's the way you should work it. If somebody in Adrian's group called me up and said, hey, Lance, what do you think about this? I'm thinking about doing it this way. I'm going to promise you the first thing I'm going to say is, well, why don't you talk to Adrian on that? I got a couple of thoughts, but I know you'll crush it. But Adrian's that rock star or whoever. I'm going to edify whoever the leader is. I'm going to send them back that way so that they can get the answers that they're going to be hearing about next week and that they're going to be hearing about on the call on Saturday, or they're going to be hearing on the next team call. I don't want to create confusion. And so if we can all just kind of start from that area, I think that would be good. And so again, before I get into this, if I say anything different than what you guys are hearing, get with the person that is in your support team and you can work it out. And if you don't have your sponsor quit, my sponsor quit within 48 hours of me getting in. And so we didn't have one. And so we had to flounder for a little while, but we got linked into some of the really smart people and knocked it out of the park over the next couple of years. And so let's talk about a binary. So a binary compensation plan, there's lots of different models in our industry. There's an affiliate model. It's a kind of the hot model now where you get paid only a couple generations or maybe one or two generations in depth. Those are really kind of good for influencers and people that are out there, sponsoring a lot of people in width or people that have got, huge followings. They're not real great as far as building depth and building teams. You don't really create real big incomes. They're usually temporary incomes over there. There's unilevel plans that we came from that are very old in the industry, and they're very difficult to build because you have no teamwork, you've got no spillover, you have no legs where you're all working together, and so those are tough. There's the matrix ones that are out there, and I've been in several of those. We've spent our first 20 years in a unilevel. We put over 250,000 people in our business, and not one person above us ever put anyone below us. And all the teams I had, we never put anyone underneath them. It was to do or die. And so, when we got into a binary, we actually love this compensation structure. And so right here is an example of a binary structure. You get involved and you're going to be sponsored by somebody and they're going to sponsor you. And if your sponsor sponsors you on the right side, your right side is going to be your common leg. That's the leg that, your sponsor, well, if you look at the U spot, you have two spots that you're going to build. You're going to build your right leg and you're going to build your left leg. If you are sponsored by your sponsor in the right leg as you are here, then if your sponsor puts anyone in the right leg, and they don't have to, they've got to put a couple in there, but if they put someone in the right leg, that's going to go on your right side. So we're going to call that the common leg. And oftentimes that is a big leg, but it's not guaranteed. What I tell people when they come into a binary is you've got to plan on building two legs. If somebody in your upline actually puts some people below you, thank God for them, appreciate them. Spillover is a wonderful thing if you're in a position to have that. But I've always started a binary based on the idea that I'm going to go build two legs. And that's great. And so again, if you've got a sponsor and you've got some people and you're part of a leg that's throwing numbers in depth, man, thank them for that. But that's not necessarily the case for everybody. And so a couple of just going to go through the bullet points. This isn't going to be real clear. I'm just going to hit some points I put down last night as I realized I was going to get up at 6 o'clock this morning and do this. So clarity ones, okay, so I already hit those points. So let's talk about the very beginning of the binary. So number one is you got to become a qualified BA. We're going to put somebody right. We're going to put somebody left. We're going to do 100 points. We're going to get them to do 100 points, and that's a qualified BA. That really should be the foundation for everyone that gets involved. And the faster you can get your folks to do that, the better off you'll be. Now, one of the things I will do with people is if I get somebody in, so if I'm the sponsor and I get you involved, the first person I'm going to have you get in, I'm going to probably have them put on the right leg. And here's the reason why I want to put them on the right leg. Because the common leg. So I'm using this example here. Right. So if I'm the sponsor and I sponsored you, the first person you should put in should be on your right leg. And here's the reason why. A lot of people get involved. They get one or two people involved, and then they quit. That's just the statistics. And that's not odd to our industry. That's just pretty much everywhere else. I mean, my son-in-law is the number 6 or number 5 guy over at 24 Hour Fitness, and he flies all around the country. Just got back from Hawaii, and I asked him one time what kind of numbers of people that actually have memberships that don't show up. And that's the vast majority. I mean, people quit gyms, people quit school, people quit churches, people quit. I mean, that's their nature, and a lot of people will jump in this thing and they won't stay consistent, and so they quit. But if they do, what I'd like to do is I'd like to have the people they put in the common leg, if that makes sense. And so kind of put that in the back of your brain that if they get in, or if you get in and you put 2 or 3 people down your left leg, then the next person I put in isn't going to benefit all those people. And I'd like to have as many people in the way as I possibly can. And so number one is to become a qualified brand ambassador. And so I think we'll do questions and answers at the end of this if we've got those. But again, playing a couple in the common leg, yeah. So here's the other part of this: as you build this, you don't know which leg is going to be your power leg. You don't know which leg is going to. You're going to have a lesser leg and a greater leg and a lesser leg. How is that determined? Well, it's based on volume, obviously. We are a 1/3, 2/3 binary, which basically means that you've got to have 600 points on one side and 300 points on the other side, and that's how it works. Now, usually it works where the common leg that your sponsor, if you're in this situation, the right leg would be that leg. But if you go out there and you don't have an upline or a support team that's putting a lot of numbers in there, you could easily find somebody on the left leg. I was talking to Paul just the other day where he's in Montevideo talking about big numbers. He had a leg that was doing tens of millions of dollars of volume. It was obviously the common leg, but literally a couple years later, he got Calvin Massera and a few other folks that got involved. The leg switched. I mean, you take a leg with millions and millions of volume and it switched, the leg switched, the power leg switched over time. And how exciting is that? So you never really know how it goes. It can go back and forth, but typically you want to go right and left, put people right and left until you have a really good sense as far as where the volume is going to go and what group is taking off. And again, always keep an eye on that, because there can come a time that if you put a rock star in your lesser leg, it uses up all the 600 CVs on the other leg, and you've got to go switch over and make some time in there. That's why I always tell people, mentally put your mindset is that I'm going to go build 2 legs, and if anybody else above me put somebody in, then man, thank you, Lord, for that. The second one, and this is the run to 3-star, and I want to hit this one, and this is important. When we set this thing up, we set in this compensation plan, and I built a binary compensation plan over in Montevideo, and it had some flaws, and ultimately those flaws actually were the demise of it. The owner took some money out that he shouldn't have. But so with that one, we saw that first binary, and it was a good one. But our leadership check matches went down. There was a lot of stuff that happened there. We went over to another company called Jeunesse, which was hit $1 billion, $1.2 billion, $1.4 billion for 5 or 6 years while we were there. Good company, but a couple of flaws in the compensation plan. So when we sat down with Daniel, back in 2022 and came with a compensation plan, we put up guardrails on this compensation plan that really helps people out. And the first part of it was the structure, that we wanted to have it to where you could have a basic foundation to get in place where it sets you up to win. And using the probably the baseball example as a metaphor. If you play, I played baseball for 15 years through high school and or through, all through Little League and high school, and I loved it. It's a great game. But if you go ahead and you work yourself up to the AAA, or you work yourself up to college baseball, you spend a lot of years working where you didn't really make any money. and you could say, well, I didn't make any money in baseball. Well, I didn't make any money in baseball. But what it did is those years of baseball sets you up so that if you get in the major leagues, you can actually go out there and make money. And that's really what 3-star is. 3-star is to get the structure in place to where you have 6 legs. So you have 6 different groups that have at least 600 CV in them. And it can be more than that. It doesn't have to be that, but you have to have at least 6 legs that have 6 personally sponsored L1s that have 600 points in them. And they have to be down your right and your left leg. And that's just to set the structure up in place. Now, again, we set this thing up to where you can have 8. If you have 8 6-star legs, that's the top of the compensation plan. So you don't have to go out there and have 1,000 people in here personally. You just need 8 massive legs. Now, to get 8 massive legs, you may have to put in hundreds. I don't know. I've seen people who got into the industry and they've put in 20 people and 8 of them knocked it out of the park. I've seen other people who put in 300 of them. It depends on who you're talking to, and that's a whole nother discussion. You also want to set yourself up so you have your L1. Your level 1, you have at least 1,000 CV on your L1, and that's to get to the happy 10. And I know we've talked about that before, but you want to have the L1 because what that does is that gets you up to the 30% check match, and that extra 10% on your L1 check match could make a massive, massive difference down the road. And so that's basically putting in enough personals and enough customers in there where your spot, your circle on your L1 is generating over 1,000 CV a month, or every 28 days. We hit that from the very beginning. I recommend you get to that point as soon as you possibly can. But let me just tell you this. So as you're running for a 3-star, know this: most of your income, you're only going to take, as far as the compensation plan, you're going to make most of your money probably on customer orders. You're going to make money on your PIBs as people get involved. And if you're lucky, you'll probably get a couple of cycles in, but you're not going to get a lot of cycles in. And the reason why I tell you all this is because the run for 3-star is like being in the minor leagues and getting ready to go out there and hit the big leagues and make money. You're not going to make a lot of money going to 3-star. And I tell you this to say, don't oversell 3-star, that, hey, when we get to this point, this is where all the money is, because people will hit 3-star and they get there and they, if they're not adding new people, or they're not getting PIBs and not adding customers, they're not going to be cycling because they may not have enough volume in place. And so what that is that is the structure to get you in a place where you're set up to win.
So when you say structure, foundation, that's right?
Yeah,
That's
the foundation. Yeah.
Okay.
You got to have 6 personally L1s. We draw it out. We draw ours out like this. We put them across this way. Ultimately you fold them down, and that's my right leg and left leg, but we draw them across the top, and this is the ones that we're going to work with. We're going to put those down. You want to have 6 of these that have at least 600 CV, and you've got a year to do it on a 3-star.
Right.
I certainly recommend you don't take that long. Yeah, I've seen people do it in 24 hours. Yeah, I've seen people do it in a couple of days. The goal is, how quick can you get there? Again, I like to have momentum, and I like to have speed, but I don't want to do it at the expense of my business, if that makes sense. And so, again, the first run is the run for 3-star. Don't expect to get rich on your run to 3-star. Expect yourself to be set up to make a lot of money down the road. And so, hopefully that makes sense. I saw when we launched 3, a lot of people came in, and we had thousands of 3-stars that went ahead and hit. And then they just sat around waiting for the checks to come in. It's like, well, wait a second. The real money comes in from leadership check match, which means you got a lot of people in your group that are making money, and from cycles. And if you're not in a position where you're doing that, and people are on their minimum 60 CV, it's going to be you'll have a residual that'll come in, but it's not going to be a huge one. And so, again, the run for 3-star, make it as fast as you can, help your new people get there, but don't oversell it like you're going to get rich at 3-star. That sets you up for the next one, running for 3-star pro and 3-star elite. So the next one is the drive the pay leg cycle. And so this is where, once you get to 3-star, you got to shift gears. So run the 3-stars, the first gear. The second gear, the big gear, the one where you're going to make the big money, is going for the cycles. And that is done in a couple of ways. Number one is you figure out which is the dominant leg, which is the leg that has the most volume in. And then at that point, once you have a leg that's putting in somebody maybe every day, every couple of, a couple of people a day, once that's in place, then typically you're going to want to go in your back office and switch your sponsorship, your enroller, to your pay leg or your lesser leg. And everyone you put in on that lesser leg should go into the lesser leg. Now, you can check with your support team before you do that, because they may have a different idea, different strategy. They'll have a different spot, and they know your people. And going back to this, I'll just give you one simple example that just happened. I had 2 people hit 3-star. This was a year and a half ago. These 2 people hit 3-star. One person hit 3-star. They were very confident. They were very successful in their career. They put 6 legs in. They went 3-star, and they asked what I should do. They asked us what we thought they should do, and I said, well, why don't you go ahead and go put 6 more legs in and go drive it? Because the people they had in place were parents. They were people who really weren't motivated. They were more customer based. And this person was excited and wanted to make some money. And so I had him go put more legs in. I had another person come up and they said, I just hit 3-star. What do I do? And I looked at their group, and they were kind of timid. They had some growth that they needed to do personally. And they had 6 legs in place, and hit 3-star. And I told them, I said, focus down on those 6 legs and keep going and building those legs down in depth. And those 2 were friends. They got together one day and they started to have a conversation. They said, well, Lance told me to go get 6 more legs. And they said, oh, you're kidding. He told me to stay in the 6 legs I've got. And they came to the conclusion that I was kind of dumb. and that's the reason why I tell you, talk with your support team. They can kind of guide you. And each person is a little different. Each group is a little different. Each team is a little different. You want to have that coach in your back pocket that can say, okay, what's the best strategy at this point? And I promise you, there's so many great leaders over here. You're going to find someone that can help you walk through that process. But So drive the leg cycle, switch to personal placement, the lesser leg, check with your support team. I have a pitch that I do when I build a lesser leg is once I got a big leg established, everyone I look at, I say, you know what, from here on out for the next 5 to 10 years, I'm going to put 100, 200, 300 people. I'm going to put thousands of people here, but personally, I'm going to build this leg. And I want to know if you want to get in now or if you want to get in later on, because I'm going to spend the next 5 years building this. And I know if we lock arms, we can go crush this thing. That conversation right there has made me millions of dollars because what it does is it gives them a sense of urgency that they should get in and get a position. I don't go out there and sell this thing. There's a lot of people with that get involved in this. And if you go, one of the arts of selling is always go for the high, go for the highest amount. When somebody gets involved, I'm going to assume that they're going to get involved, that they want to attain financial freedom, they want to have an extra income come in, and they want to maybe come home from their job. I expect them, or I'm thinking that this is the expectation I kind of put. I don't force this on them because I let them come in where they fit in. But I want that. I want somebody who's going to get involved. I like it when they get the 15 bottles to start. I like it to get them when they make some commitments and they go run with them. I want I have a mantra that if somebody's running, I run with them. If they're walking, I walk with them. If they sit down, I replace them. It's not an emotional thing. This is just it's business. This is what I do. I do that in any business. And so I would recommend as you drive your lesser leg, go for the bigger stuff. I expect when people get involved in my lesser leg that they're going to get on the $1,000, they get the 15 bottles. They've got to convince me through their words and through their actions that that's not going to be the case. But some people come in and they got in and they spent $100, and they got involved, and then they start putting a lot of people in their lesser leg at $100. It's kind of a slower process. And again, whatever it is you do is going to duplicate. And let your people know that if they get in small, their group is going to get small. The volume is going to be small, and it's going to take twice as many, 3 times, 4 times as many people to really get momentum going. And as you build your lesser leg, I would again, you're looking for the leaders to run with this thing. You want the best people you can up close, tight to you on your lesser leg as you start it down. But that pitch is really important as you go down there and build that. You're going to be spending people down there, and I would say as a commitment, you look up line in this example. Your sponsor has a sponsor, and they have a sponsor. So that common leg. If you're in a leg where that common leg is putting, people in every day at the bottom of it, and so now it's no brainer. That's my big leg.
Lucky you.
Lucky you. Okay. Your responsibility is to do the same dang thing for everybody you put in your pay leg. That's your responsibility. That's what you're supposed to do. Is you're supposed to create a team that's putting in people every single day. And I can tell you this that over the last, we spent a lot of time in our big leg for the first year or two that we were in business over here. A lot of it, we secured that leg. It's now doing. It's a lot of volume. But in my pay leg, we put 140 people in 2026 in our lesser leg personally, L1.
It gives them the greatest advantage.
It gives them the greatest advantage, and there's nobody who's in my lesser leg that's going, dang, Lance and Tracey aren't helping me out. They're not helping put volume down there. And so that's your responsibility. And as you drive that down, again, you get up to about 12 and a half cycles a week. That's 3-star pro. You get to the point where you got 50 cycles, or 25 cycles a week. That's 3-star elite. When you get to the point where you have, 50 cycles a week happening in your lesser, or because your lesser leg, that's 4-star. And it's just a math equation after that. Your goal, this is where the money is made in. You got to 3-star, you were in the minor leagues, you spent the time getting the structure in place. Now it's your time to go out there and blow out that pay leg. And again, if you've got to build 2, you've got to build 2. But the truth of the matter is once you get momentum on one side, it affects the other side, especially if you have your hands in all of it. Never get to the point where you look and say, oh, that big leg is done. Because again, like I mentioned with Paul, it can switch at any given point. You're one leader away in your lesser leg from it probably surpassing the other leg. So always keep that in mind. But that's where you're going to spend enough time. And that's where the income comes in. And so that's number 3. And I'm running out of time. Right up the ranks. This is where it gets fun. If I go back to my ancestors, I've used this example for years. They're some of the people that came out and settled the West, and they came out in wagons and all that kind of stuff, and it's kind of fun. So they have a philosophy. The people who built the West, they have a philosophy that you go out there, you claim territory. Then you cultivate that territory, and then you fortify that territory. And I kind of use that example for years as we built our business. The first part is to claim the territory. You want to go put lots of numbers in place. Okay, you want to put lots of numbers in place, right and left. You don't really necessarily get picky. If they're interested, put them in, let them go. But you're looking for people like you. You're looking for leaders that are doing what you do. And there's a lot of people in this industry that will tell you that, hey, this is what I'm going to do. I always listen to what people say, but I watch what they do. And what they're doing is where I'm going to match their energy and excitement. And I don't, it's not, and this is going to save you a lot of time and effort. It's not the people who don't get in that mess you up. It's the people that get in, take a lot of your time and do nothing that mess you up. I'm going to say that one more time just for the people in the back, because this is in 38 years of doing this. if somebody is not going to get in, I want them to not get in quickly. If somebody's going to quit, I kind of want them to quit quickly. I don't want to spend a lot of time. I mean, I'm all in. This is a marriage to me. It's not a one night stand. I'm looking at somebody, who can get in. We can lock arms with it. We're going to go build an incredible business for the next 5 to 10 years, and it's going to run with me. And we're going to be sitting on the beach somewhere in 20 years in our 80s and 90s, and laughing about how cool it was and what a great run we've had. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. And so as you're going, you're looking for leaders that are doing what you're doing. As you go down there and run it. So I talked about leaders, help your leaders break ranks. That's obvious. Once you take the focus off of you and start focusing on helping others in your group hit a rank, you don't have to worry about yourself anymore. And that's something you've got to shift your mindset into. That some of the best leaders I've ever got never really focused on hitting a big rank themselves. They just help their leaders do it, and ultimately they ended up at the top of the compensation plan. And that's the way that we're building it. One of the last things I want to say about there, so putting the numbers in is the claim territory. Cultivate is breaking ranks, building relationships. Here's how you get people to stay in your business. People will stay in your business for 3 reasons, and I want you to write these down if you got a paper. They're going to stay in your business if they're growing, if they see growth, if they see personal growth, if they see physical growth in your business, if they see things happening. People that are growing very rarely jump off the train. Okay, if you have a relationship with them, if you have a relationship and you're close and you're tight, and you believe in them and you're feeding them, and again, that growth, back to the growth thing. The growth can also be personal, and so get them reading books, get them on self-help. That journey alone will make a difference in more lives than you can even imagine. Build relationships with it, and the third, so growing, number 1. They have a relationship with you, number 2, or they're making money. Those are the 3 things that will help them in. If somebody is making a lot of money, they may not even like you, but they're going to stick around because they got a good check coming in. And so I could tell you lots of stories on that one. And so that's really how you build a binary. You become a qualified BA, you run for 3-star. That sets up the structure, the foundation for you to go be profitable. The drive, the pay leg, that's where you get to the cycles. That's where you get the leadership check match. Those are the 2 biggies. Ultimately, if you do it right, your leadership check match will be as big or bigger than your cycle bonus, because that means you got a lot of people making a lot of money. And that's the most secure way to build your business. And then you run up the ranks. You claim territory, you cultivate, you fortify, and that's it. And so I'm telling you, we're in a great spot right now. We're honored to be part of this team. There's no place I'd rather be. I put this picture up here because that was our Dallas leadership, the people who spoke out there. Obviously, 3's got a lot more people around the world, but we're really proud to be part of this team. And we've never been at a spot like this where we've had just the right people in the right place with the right company, and now the right product. And we'll have more products to come over time. But I'm telling you, if you're new here. I can't tell you, you hit a unicorn with this one, but you're going to have to do the work. You're going to have to go out there and claim territory. You're going to have to cultivate. You got to believe in your people. You got to build relationships. You got to help other win. You got to celebrate their wins. And then you got to fortify it by building depth and make certain that the people you've got are winning. And so with that, I appreciate it. And I'm going to turn it back over to Tracey or Adrian, whoever's next.
Awesome. I know we went a couple of minutes long, but Adrian, we don't see the chat, just so you know. If there's any questions, we're here, and if not, we're gonna have a great day. We'll have a great day anyway.
I don't know if I hit stop share or not.
Okay. Well,
yeah, anybody have any quick questions, or
are we good to go?
You guys that was the most thorough. Sorry, I don't have my camera on. I'm still in my pajamas in New Jersey, but I did get a face and makeup on to go see a few doctors today. But you guys blow my mind every time I see you. Lance, thank you from the bottom of my heart, for going through those numbers and literally drawing circles or creating the circles. That was fabulous. You guys are just years and years of wisdom and knowledge in this industry. I just got emotional. I appreciate you guys more than you realize. Thank you so much for coming on and doing a high-level training like this for everybody. If you guys take away one thing today, it's to get your 2 and understand that there's a massive opportunity for you to grow and build this big, and we are in the precipice of this right now. We're going into momentum in years 3 to 5. It's a very important time, and this was a very impactful training for the time that we're in. So I just wanted to say thank you for that. And then Caroline, do you have a question?
No, I have a comment. I really, really appreciate this. Is probably the most clear presentation I've ever seen. And the circles were clear. Thank you, Lance, for getting up early.
I got coffee.
Oh.
That helps.
I love that. I love that. All right, you guys, we are at the top of the hour. I'm going to close this out. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to put them in the WhatsApp chat group as well as the Facebook group. And we have some recognition. I know we had some recognition yesterday. I'm going to be posting out those videos if they haven't been posted already. Honestly, I've just been burning the candle at both ends. If it weren't for Kinetic and 2 Vitality a day, I don't even know where my head's at. I didn't even know what city I was in last night. Okay, I love you guys. If nobody's told you that today, go out, make a mess. We're going to help you clean it up. But whatever you do, you've got to bring it down to sharing the 3 story at least 2 to 5 times today. Okay, whether that's through a link or a video or a presentation or connecting with a teammate and helping them share. Either you share or you help the team share. You share or you help your new people share. Okay. All right, you guys, make it a great day. Thanks again. This is recorded and it's live on the Legacy Makers YouTube channel. So make sure you guys pop into there and you share this with your team, especially those that are emerging and they want to know how to make money. This is the one to send out today. Okay. All right. Love you guys. Have a great day. We'll see you later. Bye, everyone.
Very
Bye-bye.
good.